Miss Sabrina Carpenter.
Yep, she released Manchild. Manchild.
She released Manchild and then also announced her newest album that'll be coming out.
I'm really surprised that she's doing a whole album already.
Me too. I was not expecting that.
No.
That's some Taylor Swift stuff, like Folklore and Evermore year.
And when she released Manchild, the thing that she wrote about it, I was like fully expecting it to be a one-off song and thank you for the summer bop.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next fall or something.
No, I was too. Yeah, but before we get into all the stuff about the album art and the controversy that's around that, what do you think about Manchild?
I love that song.
Okay.
You don't like it?
Yeah.
Okay. We had a really special experience this past weekend where we got to hear it
we listened to it with Zach Horyhane himself.
Yep. We got to hear Manchild for the first time in the presence of the Swiftologist and react all together.
Yes.
So it's like that much more special. And it's just Sabrina Carpenter has a way with her words. And it's kind of like how Taylor Swift does in other ways. You felt things in the past, but like you would have never even articulated the idea of how you felt until you hear her put it into words and you're like, I have felt that before.
Yes. Yeah, no, I love the bop. One of the songs that have been on replay recently. It's also gotten some controversy.
Yeah, the statement about being slow.
And Taylor Swift's good friend, Presley Cash. Just kidding. She's not a good friend at all, but Presley likes to be a clout goblin.
Let's tell them who Presley Cash is because most of y'all don't know.
Okay. Presley Cash is the girl from the I Can See You music video, not to be mistaken for Joey King. It's the one driving the getaway car.
Yeah.
Is who Presley Cash is. And I know her from Twitter, Chronically Online Me back in the day. She was in the Mean music video. And so I was like looking up everybody who was in the Mean music video.
You're saying Mean, right? Speak Now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I found her on Twitter and like we followed each other, we would tweet sometimes, like whatever. And she lived in LA. So then I also went somewhere when I was in LA back in 2012 to a 4th of July party and she was there as well. And
would you call her your friend?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. But she's always been like chasing fame, essentially. And she's always been, Mean came out how many years ago?
15.
Okay. And up until the I Can See You music video, she would still reference that as like
her claim to fame.
Yeah. And it's, girl, can you get some other work?
Yeah.
But I digress. And she made 2 different TikToks this week talking about Sabrina Carpenter's lyrics about her being slow in the lyrics. And it caused a big controversy. I'm going to read what the captions say.
Okay.
So she posted a TikTok that says, imagine a man singing a song about a woman, calling her stupid, slow, and useless, and it going #1. It's giving ableist, not feminist. And it seems like when this one didn't get enough attention, she was going to make another TikTok. Again, she was pouring coffee or something. And it says, imagine a young male pop artist in the mainstream like Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles, or Benson Boone singing about a woman being stupid, slow, and useless and it going to #1 while people lip sync to it on TikTok in a celebratory way. Would never happen. Those men would be canceled in 2 seconds. And when she posted that one, it got traction and she was getting a lot of hate for it. But it was also opening a conversation where people were saying that Sabrina was being ableist with that lyric. So what do we think about that?
I feel like if you listen to all the lyrics of the song, like I understand slow, I guess, could be perceived as a slur. But as someone who has been called stupid and useless by a man, it's like the whole premise of the song is he's not doing anything for her. But it's like the relationship is like useless because it's like she says in the song, like, if I don't do it, it won't get done. I choose to blame your mom. It's like expecting a woman to do like household chores and things like that. It to me, it's her commenting on that and saying how those relationships have made her feel, and not calling men stupid, slow, or useless, because they're not all like that.
No,
but they can be.
Yeah, and I also think too that it could be, referencing if a man called her those things, and it's like her, when you're in an argument and you start calling them what they called you, because then they'll be like, listen to you calling me that, and you're like, literally, you did that to me. I think that kind of is like what the lyric is as well. So like, I don't have a problem with it, but that might be like controversial, because some people were kind of like split in the comments on this. So yeah, I just thought it was like a interesting topic of discussion to have.
Yeah, I think if a man came out with a song and said something so direct about a woman, it would be a problem. But
I think that's because maybe this is just my level 1,000 feminism coming out, but I think that it works for Sabrina because what she's saying happens most of the time and is very true. Yeah. Versus if they said it about a woman, it's like most women are very intelligent, smart, not useless, do everything, and, are like super women. Yeah. So
it's also like, but men have been saying horrible things about women in music for so long that I think they have lost the right to speak about someone. Like, men are more delusional than women are, if we're being real. If this is like girls and the gays here, let's be honest. It's like they can't even comprehend what. So like, I don't disagree with anything that Sabrina Carpenter is saying. And I just feel like, yeah, a man would get torn down for making this, so maybe there's something to that. But it's also like, how long have women been objectifying men in music and like calling them bitches and cheating on them in music, and it's okay? But if a woman calls a man stupid, let's talk about it. Yeah, come on. That's why I love like Megan Thee Stallion and like Glorilla and like these women that have blown up for, it's like they've taken back like a narrative, like specifically like in hip hop music, that has just been so like derogatory towards women, and they have empowered it like in so many ways. So God forbid a woman calls a man stupid once whenever he's not doing anything around the house to help her. Yeah. Because did Presley Cash make a video whenever Justin Timberlake said Britney Spears cry me a river, even though I treated you like absolute shit and dragged her on national television? Let's talk about Justin Timberlake. Like, it's just no, it burns me up, honestly.
And then people were taking this and running with it. I think it actually did get some decent traction, because even Ellie Goulding was in on it, like on Twitter. She retweeted it and said, I have thoughts that I'll share later on this, or whatever. People were also talking about the lyric in there where she's like, if I'm not there, it won't get done. I choose to blame your mom. Being like, why wouldn't you blame both the parents? And it's like, for the simple fact that, again, the woman does everything. So if he's brought up in a house and he's raised to not have to do anything, it's because the mom did everything. And so Sabrina's saying, I blame your mom for doing everything for you, not teaching you how to do anything. Yeah, exactly. Because she was always doing everything.
And yeah, you could say she chose to blame the mom and not the dad. The dad also would have failed in that scenario for not like teaching their son how to like treat a woman and give to her. But the thing is, if it's on the mom for the boy child not knowing like how to do things to take care of himself, it's on the dad for not making the child realize that it's not all on your mom. So it's like, but the reality is like, if the guy thinks that's okay, it's because he watched his dad do it to his mom. Most likely.
And I mean, come on, she's using terms that we've all said before. Yeah. I mean, you can't tell me, if you're listening to this and you've had a relationship where you felt like you did everything and they didn't contribute or do anything, that you didn't think, like, why wouldn't your mom have made you do this? You know, like, it's like she's just using things like popular thoughts because that's like what's going to relate to the majority and the masses.
And it's like pop music, so it's these complicated conversations simplified into stupid.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's be a little bit more like, let's see the whole body of work and then judge if she's sexist or not. You know, like whatever, ableist, like anything you would call it. But I think Presley Cash needs to get a job.
Yeah. She had to make a 15-minute long video crying over the hate that she was getting and stuff. She's just a little delusional. And that's a lot coming from us. Yeah. When we call you delusional, you know that you are. Yeah. But on the same topic of Sabrina, we mentioned she did announce her new album, Man's Best Friend. And people had issue with this too.
I like it. I like the concept because I think it almost is grabbing a hold of the, like, women being called bitches by men. I think it's like, okay, you want to call us bitches. Well, Sabrina Carpenter is going to make a whole album, like, showing you guys, like, I don't know. I just feel like she's, like, slapping men in the face with it, but in the most, like, cunty way.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. When I first saw the artwork for the album, it was a little jarring to me because I was kind of, because it feels a little degrading. But then I saw the concept, Man's Best Friend. I'm like, oh, okay, being treated like a dog, you know, because that was kind of like where my mind was at when I first saw it. So that's good that they did the concept right, you know. I was like, I don't like this picture because it looks like she's being treated like a dog, you know. But then I saw that was intentional, and the concept is Man's Best Friend, and I was like, oh, okay, like I understand more now. And I also too, like, people are saying, you know, it's satire and it's her being treated like a dog, and it's like depicting the way that men treat women and whatever. And people's rebuttal to that was that, you know, but a man who treats a woman like that isn't going to see this and think about that. They're going to see it for what it looks like and what it is. And I was like, I mean, I get that. But again, her music's for the girlies.
Yeah.
So it's
like related.
If we see it and can notice the commentary on what she's saying, it's for us.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like relatable in a way, like every woman at some point has felt belittled by a man, like, for just being a woman and existing. So I feel like it could be her claiming that and profiting off of, like, the negative feelings that all women have felt at some point. So, like, I get both sides of it, but at the end of the day, like, her stuff's always been, like, satire and, like, meant to be, like, comical in a way. And, like, it's like an over dramatized version of what you feel like.
Yeah. And I also think that we're all critiquing this a little too much for it to have just been the album artwork and name released. Like, I feel like we need to see the body of work to be able to be like, oh, her songs can probably change how we would feel about this artwork. Yeah. You know,
and
depending on what they say.
Knowing Sabrina Carpenter and how, like, specific her lyricism is to, like, situations too, I could see her having a lyric that completely explains that image.
Yeah. Or, like, there might be a song called Man's Best Friend, you know, and then it makes it click for us and we get it, you know? So I think that, like, whatever side you're on of feeling about this, like, image artwork for the album and the name and the concept and everything, I think we just need to wait till it comes out and then we can judge it as the whole body of work that it is. Because right now, I think it's just a puzzle piece and it's missing the rest.
Yeah. I also feel like women jumping on a bandwagon whenever a bunch of people are, like, picking apart Sabrina Carpenter for something we don't know anything about yet. It's just a photograph. And yeah, she could be being perceived like a dog, or even it could be perceived sexually or whatever. Because I thought it more sexual than like animal, I guess. And it's, I get all of the arguments, but it's also like whenever a bunch of celebrity women start like this like Twitter train of just like making and commenting on something that they also don't know anything about before they've seen it. It's just as bad whenever the women start doing that and saying that we're digressing as women by putting things out like this or giving the men power by doing stuff like this. I feel like it's the opposite, and the women speaking out against her are like making it worse, because it's like y'all should be like letting her embody like what she's feeling and how a man has made her feel and putting it into her artwork and building her up rather than I'll commentate on this later.
Yeah. It's like...
It reminds me of when Lorde tried to drag Lana for when she put out Ultraviolence. Mm-hmm. And the way that she like didn't get Lana's imagery. And yeah, Lana has glamorized some DV in the past, but Lana also made art from her. I don't know if it was really her experience, but she made art out of it and made people feel something. So who cares how she did it?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like when people get on the bandwagon and say, oh, this is setting us back and all this, it's actually what you're doing is setting us back. I feel.
That's what I think, because it's like y'all are actually just critiquing everything that she puts out because she's like sexual and like forward or whatever. Whereas if a man were to put something out that was degrading himself, you would be like, go off, queen.
Yeah.
It also made me think of people dragging, I don't think we talked about it because we didn't do Hot Topics, but Sydney Sweeney and her freaking bathwater.
Yeah.
Like, the girl is hot. If she can make so much money from selling soap with her bathwater in it, who cares? Let her do it.
I was always like, with the Sydney Sweeney bathwater stuff and people saying that it was setting us back, I was like, if it was a girl on OnlyFans doing that, y'all would be like, yes, sex work is real work. Go off, queen.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that
I'm pretty sure Sydney Sweeney used to be on OnlyFans.
Did she?
I think it was before she was on Euphoria.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. But I feel like I remember that being like a part of her story. So it's, if these men are going to be gross and want to buy her bathwater, let her sell it.
Yeah.
I would sell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bathwater link in bio. Oh, one other thing about JoJo Siwa, like kind of backtracking a little bit. She revealed in an interview that her mom has been bleaching her hair blonde since she was 2.
Yeah. No, I knew that.
Can you imagine bleaching Sloane's hair?
No.
It would fall out, I feel.
Like, that would hurt.
Yeah.
You know, bleach on the scalp kind of, it burns, it stings.
And it damages it, and that is just crazy.
Hi, I'm Jill.
And I'm Alyssa.
And you just watched a clip from Glitter Gel Pen.
We upload new episodes every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And we also upload clips like the one you just watched 3 times a week.
Subscribe for more.